Okay, how's it going, guys? I thought I'd turn the camera on and have a little chat. I haven't done that in a very long time, just randomly talking to the camera, but the camera was sitting there, so I thought, yeah, may as well. My channel's gone a little bit slow recently just because, you know, we've had Christmas and everybody was ill over Christmas and I've been really busy with work, so I've just not really been uploading too much. But anyway, I might start to remedy that as the weather's turning a bit nicer. I'll be getting out, filming a bit more and all that kind of thing, so hopefully that will become a little bit more of a regular thing. Anyway, so yeah, I thought I'd have a quick chat about RC cars and FPV drones, because I've kind of been slowly getting back into the sort of RC stuff a little bit recently, and I thought I'd ask for a little bit of advice on the FPV drone stuff. At Christmas time I treated myself to an RC car. I went for a Traxxas Slash, which is a bit of an older model now, but I wanted to go for Traxxas because it's very easy to get parts and repair bits, and they're kind of sort of like a fairly sort of robust, you know, as far as I can tell, robust make. I've been blown away by this little thing. So it's not a very expensive sort of high performance car, really, relatively speaking, compared to, you know, what you can spend on an RC car these days. But look at it this way. I haven't really been into RC cars since like the late 80s, early 90s, where I was really into my Tamiyas. You know, I had like a Hornet and a Rough Rider and a Avanti and a Hotshot 2 and stuff like that. And the technology has moved on, you know, obviously so far since then, but it has kind of like blown my mind how the performance of these things compared to what we had when I was a kid is just nuts. This thing, you know, you can pick these things up. They sort of start around about sort of £200, or they go up to about £500, the Slashes, depending on the exact model. This one has a pretty beefy little electric motor, and it will take 3S batteries, these 3-cell batteries, which have got a lot of punch. And this little thing here it will go over 60 miles an hour, which is nuts. And it takes a beating. I mean, I'm repairing it right now. I'm replacing a drive shaft. But I've been smashing this thing into, you know, huge jumps and crashing it all over the place, because I'm relearning how to do RC basically. I mean, I've been flying drones for a very long time, but you know, like DJI drones and stuff like that, but I've not touched an RC car in many years, so I'm sort of relearning how to do things. I'm still not sure about this whole you know, the steering wheel controller setup. I'm still missing my old Tamiya sort of dual channel type affair, but I'm slowly getting used to it, and I'm starting to learn how to control the car in the air a little bit. So when you get, you know, up in the air, you do a jump and you can accelerate to sort of like, you know, turn it nose up, and you can brake to sort of bring the nose down. I'm not really doing like backflips or anything like that yet, but I'm slowly learning how to just control the car in the air so I can land on the wheels and not just kill it basically. I don't always pull it off, but I'm slowly getting my head around that at the moment. And yeah, it is loads of fun, and this thing is nuts. Anyway, so getting back to FPV drone stuff. So I've mainly just been investigating all of that so far, you know, watching lots of videos, reading stuff about it basically, and I'm trying to decide at the moment whether to go the DJI FPV route, or possibly the racing edition goggles, possibly, and then having an analog transmitter, or whether to go the full DJI route, or to go the FatShark route and go just like more traditional analog, which is, you know, going to be a little bit cheaper, but you know, the quality isn't quite as high in terms of the actual image. There's pros and cons to both, but yeah, if any of you guys are into your FPV drone stuff, give me some advice about what you think I should do. I'm probably just going to buy a controller first off, a fairly cheap controller, and then practice on a simulator for a few weeks, just to get, you know, my head around completely different way of controlling a drone. Because if you know, I'm coming from like, you know, DJI Phantoms and stuff like that, which are like, you know, boring robots basically, you know, compared to these fully, you know, acrobatic 5-inch performance drones. So yeah, what you think which route I should go? I've been hearing loads of great stuff about the DJI FPV goggles, and they do look amazing in terms of the quality and the distance that you get from it, and you know, the lack of sort of dropouts and all that kind of stuff. Obviously not cheap, but I mean, for things like if you're going this traditional route with the you know, the FatShark and all the rest of it, then if you want a decent quality sort of cinematic image, you're going to have to buy well, I've got a GoPro already, but you're going to have to put a GoPro on the drone as well as the FPV camera. Whereas with the DJI route, it looks like you can pretty much get away with just having the FPV camera, because that will record 1080 60p in that alone. I know that's not like 4K or anything, but it's still good enough for most sort of purposes, certainly when I'm getting used to it. So yeah, so you sort of save a little bit of money that way, but then you know, the goggles are like £500, and then the Air thing is like 150 or something like that, and I think you can replace just the camera if you want, which is about 50 quid. So if you keep crashing it and you keep breaking the camera, then that's not like a terrible, you know, amount of money to lose. But anyway, enough sort of waffle. As you can tell, I'm just in the process of deciding which route to go. It does feel like this whole digital, you know, revolution is pretty much there now. So I think it's worth going in that direction. That's what my gut's telling me, because that seems to be the future of everything. But then some of the FatShark goggles do look amazing as well, and they are, you know, a bit cheaper. And anyway, enough waffle. Here's some clips of me ragging around in this thing, which I have to say is a lot more fun than I expected. Just because the performance of it is just crazy. It's yeah. I've got my eye on some of the sort of larger, you know, the X Max and some of the sort of faster armor ones and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, I might have sort of reignited a passion that I've kind of forgot that I had by playing around with this for the last month or so. Anyway, that's definitely enough waffle now. Yeah, so any of you guys are really into your FPV drone stuff, I'd really appreciate your input on that. In the meantime, yeah, here's some clips of me ragging around with my little Traxxas Slash, which, yeah, good fun. Anyway, here you go.